Hello. I was trying to connect with you. Let's try again. Hello, welcome to Write for the Stage. My name is Nicole and I'm a playwright. I'm here to help you learn how to share your ideas, whether that's for an audience of 1 or 1,000. Today's video is called Writing the Unknown. You will need 2 or 3 sheets of paper. Just depends on how big you write. I needed 3. If you have a sheet of paper that's blank and doesn't have lines, then bring that to use. But if you've only got lined paper, it's totally going to work fine. You'll also need a pen or pencil. And again, optional if you've got markers or colored pencils or crayons, anything that can add color to a drawing, then bring those too. Let's get started. If you've ever studied how stories work, you've probably seen a diagram that looks like a pyramid or a mountain. A straight line that starts out low, climbs up towards a climax, and then falls down just a little bit at the resolution or the end. The main character moves forward through the story, almost like they're following a road. Cinderella is a really good example of this kind of story, right? Because she starts off living with her evil stepmother, and then she meets a handsome prince, and then at the end she goes off to the palace to be with him, and they all live happily ever after. But a lot of stories, including some of the oldest stories and myths that are from all over the whole world, they don't really look like pyramids or mountains when you study them. They actually look like circles. This kind of story is sometimes called the hero's journey. The main character, or hero, leaves home, goes on adventure, but comes back home at the end. It's kind of like they go back to start, but when they get there, they are different. Now there's a lot of detail in this picture and we are not going to worry about most of it. But what I want you to focus on is this one moment in a hero's journey. When they go from the known to the unknown. The hero starts off in a place they know well, their home, but then they cross a line into an unfamiliar place, a place they don't know. They go on an adventure, they face challenges, and there's always something important for them to learn, something they couldn't have figured out if they had just stayed home instead. At the end of the story, they come back to where they started, but their life has been changed by their adventure in this unknown place. There are super old stories from all over the world that work like this, but there are newer ones too. There's Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, even Star Wars. When you start looking for them, you can actually find them all over the place. So today, I want to focus on just one journey into the unknown, and that is the movie Coco. Now, Coco came out in 2017, but if you're still worried about spoilers, I'm only going to talk about the first 20 or 25 minutes, and I'll try not to reveal too much about the story when I do that. Okay? Okay. In Coco, the main character, or hero, is a 12-year-old boy named Miguel Rivera. Miguel lives with his family in Santa Cecilia, Mexico. Some of you watching are probably from Mexico or have family there, so I wanted to say that there is a real place in Mexico called Santa Cecilia, but for the movie, the filmmakers were actually inspired by a few different places in Mexico. Miguel's hometown is based on Santa Fe de la Laguna in Michoacan, which is in the southwestern part of the country. But it's also inspired by people and places in Oaxaca, which is farther south, and by the capital, Mexico City. Now, Coco takes place on Dia de los Muertos, which in English is the Day of the Dead. Miguel travels to a very, very unknown place, the Land of the Dead. To get to the Land of the Dead, Miguel crosses a bridge made of bright orange flower petals, specifically petals of the cempasúchil, or marigold. Those of you who celebrate Dia de los Muertos will know way more about the importance of the cempasúchil than I do. What I learned, though, is that the bright color and strong smell of this flower is believed to help guide spirits to their families in the land of the living. That's why, in Coco, their petals also lead the way for Miguel to the land of the dead. When he gets there, Miguel meets, of course, dead people. They look like skeletons, which makes sense because calaveras, which is the Spanish word for skulls, are really important symbols on Dia de los Muertos. Another thing Miguel finds in the land of the dead is that alebrijes, which in the living world are these colorfully painted fantastical creatures, are actually real spirit guides that move and breathe in the land of the dead. In this unknown place, Miguel faces dangerous obstacles and eventually learns things that will change his life forever. I will not spoil the movie for you by saying what they are. Unknown places can be spirit realms, like the land of the dead in Coco, or they can be totally imaginary, just made up places. But they can also be real. If you or anyone in your family immigrated to where you live now, then you already know better than I do that the immigrant's journey is absolutely a journey into the unknown. And it takes a ton of bravery to leave your home and travel somewhere new, even if the somewhere new isn't full of spirits and strange creatures. So the only rule to keep in mind when you're making up an unknown place is that the hero doesn't know about it. Now let's get started on creating our unknown places. Step 1, here we go. To create your unknown place, all you have to do is answer 6 questions. Number 1, is it inside or outside? Number 2, how hot or how cold is it? Number 3, how light or how dark is it? Meaning, is it sunny and bright and you can see really well? Or maybe dark and cloudy and you have to kind of squint your eyes? Number 4, how loud or how quiet is it? What sounds would you hear there? Are there many sounds or is it more quiet and spooky? Number 5, pick 1 or 2 main colors that you would see there. In Coco, the land of the dead has a lot of orange and a lot of purple. Your place might have a lot of blue and yellow, like a beach, or maybe a lot of green, like a forest or a park. You can pick any colors you want. And finally, number 6, what living things are there in the place? Are there people, animals, plants? Now I'll show you what I wrote down, just as an example. Remember, your unknown place doesn't have to be anything at all like mine. For the first question, inside or outside, I picked outside. For number 2, hot or cold, I actually changed my mind while I was working. So at first I put down that it would be cold, but then in step 2, I changed my mind and thought that it would be warm instead. You can totally do that if you get different ideas as you're going through this video. For number 3, light or dark, I decided it would be somewhere kind of in between, so I put dark like it is when the sun is setting. Number 4, loud or quiet, I decided it would be loud with humming and buzzing sounds. Those were some sounds that came to mind for me. For my colors, I chose pink and brown. And then for this last question about living things, I decided no people. There would be trees and a lot of small animals that look like butterflies or maybe leaves, but they have eyeballs, of course. And then I got the idea for a bird-like animal with a fluffy tail and 3 eyes. Now it's your turn. So you can pause the video and take as much time as you want to answer all 6 of those questions. Happy writing! Nice job. Let's move on to step 2. So now what you're going to do is you're going to draw your unknown place. Even if you don't think you're good at drawing, go ahead and give this step a try. Drawing out your ideas uses different parts of the brain than when we're using words, so it can really help you think about your story in a new way. If you have paper without lines, use that for your drawing, but if you only have lined paper, that's totally fine. That's what I used, so it's not a big deal. You're gonna fold your piece of paper in half crossways, or sometimes people call it like hamburger style, and use one half of your paper to draw your place. And here's my drawing. You can see some of the things I wrote about in step number 1, like all the pink and brown, and those small animals that look like butterflies or leaves. It's when I was drawing all this pink that I decided the place didn't seem like it would be cold, like the pink just didn't give me that feeling. So that's when I changed my answer to the second question on our list from cold to warm. Just remember, you can always make changes like that if you come up with new ideas while you're drawing. All right, it's your turn. Pause the video and take as much time as you need to draw, starting right now. You made it to step 3. Awesome job. So now that you've got your where, it's time to think about who, how, and why. First, choose a character to be your hero. Who will journey to your unknown place? You can use any character you have in your head, or I have a whole video that guides you through the process of creating a character if you want to pause here and find that. Or you can choose an animal for your character, which is what I'll do today. Next, write down how the character will get to the unknown place. Do they cross a bridge like Miguel does in Coco? Do they fly there on magic wings? Do they take the bus or something else? Finally, decide why the character makes this journey. Are they looking for something, running away from danger, or something else? Maybe they don't even mean to make the journey, but they wind up going by mistake or by accident. Here's my example for step 3. I decided that my who would be a cat, just because I love cats. And it's an indoor cat that's a bit old. So the cat's not really accustomed to going on adventures, which I thought would be interesting. For the how, I was inspired by all the pink of my unknown place. So I imagined a pile of fluffy pink sweaters in the way back of a closet that seems totally normal. And for the why, I kind of hinted at this. I decided that this cat went on an adventure totally by accident. So the cat tries to hide in the pile of sweaters, but gets sucked into an unknown place. Your turn. Pause the video and get to writing. Go. Welcome back. You've almost reached the end. This is the very last step, step number 4. In this step, you're going to write a postcard from the unknown. So write a postcard from your character to someone they left back at home. Use the other half of the paper you used to draw your unknown place to write your postcard. When you're done, your paper will look a little bit like a postcard with a picture on one side and writing on the other. So let me show you what this postcard looks like when you're done. So here's my drawing on one side, and then on the other side, here's the message that I wrote from Kat. It's actually a little bigger than a postcard, but I think it still kind of looks like one. And now here's what I wrote. Dear humans, this is all your fault. If you hadn't brought that baby home, screaming all the time, I wouldn't be stuck here. Everything is pink and never quiet. The leaves have eyes and they sing all the time. Today, I saw a bird with a cotton ball tail watching me. Maybe it will eat me and this nightmare will be over. Please look in the back of the closet and try to pull me out. From Kat. Your postcard can be totally different. Like maybe your hero is writing to somebody at home that they miss and they aren't mad at them, like Kat is mad at the humans. Maybe they're writing to a family member or a neighbor. Maybe they went on the journey to help their community, so they're hoping that when they get home they can make things better. Basically, you can write about whatever you want. You are always in charge, okay? So pause the video and take your time writing your postcard. Good luck. That's it. You're done. You learned how to write the unknown, and I hope you had a good time doing it. If you're still really excited about your hero and their journey into the unknown and you want to keep writing about it, that is very awesome. I have a few questions for you that might inspire you as you continue with your story. Who does your hero meet in your unknown place? Who helps them along their journey? Who gets in their way or challenges them? What does your hero need to learn? What knowledge will they return home with at the end of your story? For example, I think the cat in my story probably needs to learn something about change not always being such a bad thing. A little bonus, you can use your unknown place as a setting for any Write for the Stage video. Thanks for watching Write for the Stage. I'll see you next time. Bye.